Looks like we are live now. Alright, everybody, thanks for joining us. This is the Optimal League After Dark. My name is Brink, and I'm with my co host Zach.
What up?
And our guest is. Go ahead.
ZEYX, the support for Cosmic Insight.
Alright, guys. Please. Alright, we're gonna go through our.
Wait, make sure you add everyone
yeah,
on
I'm gonna
stream
add everyone
notifications.
right now, actually. Let me get this sorted out here.
Oh, heck yeah, baby.
Right, now everybody probably knows that we're on this. Alright, okay. So, week 5 has concluded, and there's a lot of spicy things to talk about. So, ZEYX, please introduce yourself.
I am the support for Cosmic Insight. Basically, I don't know what else you want me to say.
And how was your week? How was your week?
How have your past weeks been?
It was.
Go
Our
the
past
2 weeks.
our past 2 weeks have been fantastic. We're 6-1.
Nice.
But yeah, so
And you guys went on
lost,
5-game win streak, right?
yeah, we're on a 5-game win streak.
Yeah, and how
which is nice.
like we were kind of talking about. I know on the last After Dark, we were kind of went at length in talking about how you guys were kind of really on fire and like we're picking it up at near the end of the season. So like, tell us how that like started. You know, like how did we get there? Like to the
Okay,
point,
so
what broke through? You know.
Feels Batman. We've been playing as like a team together for a long time. With Feels Batman, ETP, Gigabyte, and then ZEYX, me, and Wicklebear for like since like the beginning of the year. Like we've been playing for a long time. And then Connor had like other stuff he was doing. He started coaching tennis and had a job, and they got really busy. So he stepped away, and then we added Assorted Fruits to our team, who is basically a fill player. And we're like, oh, okay. So we'll have him in the top lane. He'll be fine. He plays top lane champs. He'll be okay. So we had him in top lane, and we were just so used to playing with Feels Batman that it is really hard to like adjust because they just have really different play styles. Assorted Fruits really wanted a group and team fight where Feels Batman is just, I'm just gonna AFK push and beat the shit out of my laner the entire time.
Okay.
So it's just different play styles. And then Feels Batman wanted to come back, so our mid laner Gigabyte had some internet issues this week, and it just kind of went boom. So
That's
yeah.
unfortunate. So like, okay, so like you guys ended up going on a win streak, and I guess your like morale like kind of obviously
Yeah, so
went
we-
up, right? So
Yeah, we got Feels Batman back, which was nice just to have, like, just because we know everybody. And then Gigabyte's internet went boom, so Assorted Fruit stepped in mid lane and been kind of popping off since. Our synergy's back, which is nice.
yeah,
So
that's good to
Yeah,
hear.
you guys looks pretty good. Like, it's kind of interesting because, like, I was looking at all of y'all's match history. Like, literally last night, I was like, wait, what the hell? Like Assorted Fruits that's his name, right?
yeah,
He was like subpar top laner according to match history, like the first few weeks, and then you get like
Yeah.
whole sauce mid, and he just pops off.
yeah. He played a lot of mid, and then he played a lot of like support, and then he started moving to top lane, and then we asked him to play.
He yeah, I mean, like, you guys like looked really good. I mean, we played you guys tonight, and y'all looked really good. Y'all looked better
Yeah.
than Air Force and CSU, in my opinion.
Oh my
we
god,
kind of
dude.
trolled against the
Tonight
other
was
teams a little harder.
Tonight was rough. I don't know. We were just kind of off, on the same page all night tonight, which was whatever. But I mean, we shored up some of our late game issues. We were just throwing leads constantly. Like the first time we played 8K, we blew like an 8K gold lead because we just didn't do anything, and then we smacked them again because their bot lane sucks. Basically, I don't know what else.
AK, no, I agree. Hold on. I'm a
Talk
hard
your
believer
shit,
that
dude.
AK.
I don't care.
No, talk your shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you got D2 Nick down there, and then playing Lux, and then they're
Wait, I thought it was
basically.
T1 Nick.
I don't know if their 80 carries like autofilled, but he talks a lot of shit and basically is trash. I don't
Yo,
know.
that's the funniest thing I fucking.
No, but we've like smacked them both times in lane, and like
D2,
this dude. Okay, the first time we played AK, they were talking hella shit about, oh, they got counter pick. This dude took fucking TP on Xayah and just AFK'd.
Damn.
But
Damn.
yeah, I mean, if you just AFK farm or freeze the group, yeah, your team's gonna be down 8k, and we just threw the lead.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we'll discuss this when we discuss power rankings and like team standings. But AK has always had a bad bot lane.
And
Like, you
our
have-
like entire team has been like a really bad best of 1 team, because we always use like the first game like a best of 3 to figure out what the strategy is. Like every scrim set we play, we always lose game 1 and then win game 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's,
So
I
it's
mean,
just
that's
like-
a lot of teams.
Yeah, that's ones are interesting. I agree.
And like some of the teams have really, really predictable strategies. I really wish the 8K game would have got streamed yesterday, because if you watch their games, every single time, as soon as Rift Herald spawns, they pull their bot lane out of bot and then shove it top and try to 5-man the Rift Herald, and we just call
You know
them.
where
and
they
we're
got
just,
that from, right?
No.
In Bloom. So the team I was on in season 2 in Bloom, we won season 2 championships. I played.
They
ADC
literally do it
for
every time.
Yeah, Havoc.
Like-
It's Havoc strat.
Yeah.
It
Literally-
actually
and,
comes
like-
from yeah.
We had our Lucian on 4 kills. It was like, okay, good luck. And then we just team fought them and they just lost.
Damn.
They love copying strats.
I mean, it's a effective one for sure. You know.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
once
no,
you know it, they just sacrifice the lead bot. Like their bot lane's not good enough to win a 2v. Like they lost 2v2 solo twice to us. Like,
Damn.
and I don't. Okay, honestly, I don't know. That's just confusing to me.
I mean, I really
They have
like
really
how,
good mid jungle though.
Yeah, the mid jungle.
Yeah, their mid jungle duo's good, but when your bot lane's losing that hard and you try to group and team fight, you just can't really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like when a Lucian's on like 3 or 4 kills.
Exactly, and that's
That's why you play Ezreal.
that's why you play Ezreal with TP and Yumi. There you go. You won't die ever.
I mean, I feel like that would kind of add to the whole bitch bot lane stereotype, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's
at
what
some point you
everyone
gotta
did.
embrace what your identity is. You know.
Yeah,
But,
I'm a bitch bot laner and I won killing Ezreal 4 games straight
Hey, there you go.
in championship. So
Yeah, but yeah, that's fine. There you go.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. We're gonna just try to break down what the try to get an idea of what people thought going into the next week was. So like we're gonna take a look at the power rankings here. I'm gonna pull up the graphic real quick. Oh, there it is. All right. So as we usually do, we start off with the solar conference and then we work our way into lunar. But just for this week, since you're in the lunar conference, let's just start with the lunar conference because I think you might just know more about what's going on there. And so I'm gonna start. I kind of want to hear from Zach first. Like you did the power rankings, so like tell me about
Mhm.
what your thought process was like going into this week.
yeah, so the big thing is that we all. So this is an interesting week because I would say like Austin was kind of like the one who headlined like this whole like power rankings thing, like the new thing we did. With like we would all like research the team super hard and like talk to their captains and stuff and then write power rankings about them. But Austin like didn't do it because I think he mental boomed after last week. But basically, in terms of lunar, we've kind of decided that they're the weaker group, which I think they could have been all along because in G7 we're all just carrying them.
Crazy that turned out. It turned out it's pretty insane. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think that it's not more so like it's kind of hard to decide. Like I think if you played if you had the top 5 teams from Lunar play the top 5 teams from Solar would win, like 3-2, maybe 4-1.
I agree.
I think Bubble Buddies is easily the best team in the league because they were trolling the first few weeks. I think Azura was never that good in the first place, and I think they were too highly rated to begin with. And we'll talk about them later. They went boom. But I think Ravens and Penguins are both pretty good. I think Wyoming is still a top 5 team in the league. And Lunar just, I don't know. Like, I'm not like flaming Cosmic Insight or CSU, but like they're in 3rd and 4th place when we made these rankings, and they are like I don't know if they'd be like higher. I don't think actually. Yeah, they'd probably be like 5th or 6th place in Solar. I just don't think like Lunar as a whole is like a good division. They have like AK and Fallen, and like those are the only teams that really stand out to me. And Fallen and AK like even give up games to like Cosmic and else they lose to? They lose to Nighthawks? I don't know, but
I mean,
Yeah, so
okay.
Lunar's a mess. Let's just say that.
Yeah, Lunar kind of got really jumbled up. Like, I guess I'll give my opinion really quickly here, before we get to you, ZEYX. But, um, Lunar really just kind of, like, debated us pretty hard at the beginning of the season. Like, we all thought
Hmm.
that, like, Lunar was gonna be like, literally Premier versus Academy, you know? Like, and this is, I want to call out every single
Those are real
person.
words used too, like by players
I'm gonna call
from
out
both
every single
sides.
player here who called this Premier and Academy, okay? Because like there's a lot of complaining at the beginning of the season, but we all know how shit turned out. Like everything turned out like completely opposite of what everybody is complaining about. So going forward, this is a precedent, you know, like which is pretty cool. I like to see how like the general consensus is wrong, you know. Um, so I'm gonna kind of go in a little bit about some of the teams in Lunar that I think are kind of underrated. Like I clearly think that Cosmic Insight is pretty underrated as a team.
You think they're higher than 10, 10, 7, 8, 8? By the way, all this was the guest.
Okay, I'm gonna,
It's
what?
like yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I sent you like I think the graphic on the stream has Elvis and then has guest for Lunar. Um, but yeah, Elvis was the guest. So
Hmm.
I personally don't think his ratings are very accurate. I even made him redo the ratings before I used his,
Okay.
um, because he definitely like rated a lot of teams pretty poorly, like and not very accurately. Like he didn't know about the teams. So
Okay.
these power rankings might be skewed just a tad, but I still think for the most part, um, they're pretty solid power rankings since
Hmm.
that's always 5 people, you know.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will kind of take that into account, but at the same time, there was. Okay, I'll just kind of go into what I have to say because like I think can't really do anything about guess the kind of skewing the numbers here,
hmm
but
it
like
wasn't that much though.
yeah, I don't think it kind of affected it too much. But in my opinion, I think like Cosmic Insight can take off games from like. I think we know that Astra kind of went boom a little bit, so I'm gonna go with like Ravens, Penguins, and Wyoming. Like I personally think Cosmic Insight will give all of them a tough challenge. You know, like
hmm
and they're the third team in Lunar, you know, and then CSU Rams are also another team, and Nighthawks, Rams and Nighthawks. I think they're
hmm
teams that can, you know, at the fourth spot, that can compete with the fourth spot in Solar. So like the top half is like sort of. I think Bubble Buddies is much further ahead than any other team in Lunar by far. I think they're pretty far ahead, but in my opinion, the way the teams get to playoffs in Lunar is kind of what's suspect. You know, it's really suspect because like there's a bunch of teams at the very bottom that are kind of like unpredictable and the level of play that they come with on a weekly basis isn't like it's not something that we can kind of rely on. So
hmm
I feel like the teams that like the way that you get to playoffs in Lunar is suspect, but the teams that are already there, based on what we saw, like is kind of okay. You know?
And these are best of ones too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. And
we
best
and playoffs is they're BF5.
that this is true, and that's a huge point to make because I feel like a lot of the teams in Solar and best of fives are just scary to play against. You know, like if you're not AK or Fallen, you know. So I guess that's just my opinion on what the Solar Conference is. It's just suspect how you get to playoffs, but the team strength in general is not something that I'm gonna gloss over. They're pretty decent. The teams that are in the playoff position.
Yeah, on here's ZEYX input on
Yeah.
like the middle of the pack Lunar teams. Like I would say like
Uh,
I shown
okay,
here
first
here
off, did you
AK
guys
to
watch
Cuddle.
the Bubble Buddies Penguins game?
No.
The one that was streamed?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
that game
here's
was like the
I want
biggest
the
clown fiesta that I think I've seen in a long time.
wait, Penguins just beat Bubble Buddies. Yeah, wait, hold on.
Yeah, no, but like the game was streamed, and like it was like 25 minutes in the game, and there's like one turret down. It was like, wait, what? Yeah, we were watching it, and it's like, I feel like I've been watching this game for 50 minutes. How is this not over yet? Just like everybody seems scared to do everything, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know if Bubble Buddies is the best team after that performance, but I mean, I haven't
I
watched
think
any
they
of the other
meme.
games, but yeah, if they were memeing, but that was a We were like, this is the #1 team in Solar. Holy shit, this division sucks.
I'm going to, before you go further, Chad's asking to like go forward, like, you know, show a picture of what today's matches were. We're kind of
Yeah.
talking, I just want to make sure everybody knows, we're talking about what the power rankings looked like before we went into week 5, so we kind of justify and kind of look back on what, you know, what worked and what didn't work, and, you know, who kind of, you know, overperformed, who underperformed, and that sort of thing. We will talk about the standings, you know, like right
And
now.
Maybe
so.
we could have it like a comparison, like a side by side of the standings and the power
Yeah.
rankings, because like as you can see, like you have Cosmic Insight at 3rd for like this week's power rankings, or like
Yeah,
before this week happened. But a lot of people are like 10, 7, 8, and now they're sitting at 5th.
No, it's tied for 4th with Wild.
Well, tied for 4th, but they're listed as a 15.
All right, let me
Yeah.
do this.
So pretty interesting. And I want to say that like
I'm gonna cover up the chat a little bit, guys.
it's so hard to rate the teams and like define like what makes a conference good or bad, because like
CSU's
I just
above
said like
Wildfire, by the way.
I just said that like Solar is like possibly better division than Lunar, but like my like whole philosophy before tonight was like Solar is literally just a playoff race between 6 teams, and then it was 5 teams after all contests went boom. So like Sins, Elion, and Hawkeye realistically never had a chance for playoffs.
Yeah.
Lightning
So like,
possibly did when you know when Alcantas was there, but it's just like it's just 5 teams fighting for 4 spots. Like that's not very competitive, is it? Like I don't know.
yeah,
But
I don't know. I see like Solar's like you get 3 free wins basically
Mhm.
from those teams. Like I don't know what happened, but like it would just look like boom. And like I mean, hats off to them for playing it out, but like I don't know, it just feels like there's 5 teams for 4 spots, like you said. So if you get 3 free wins, basically, or basically 6 free wins,
This is
because you get to play each of them twice.
And I don't want to ditch on like any of the Solar teams, because like I've been a Wyoming stan since the beginning. Yeah, I use that verb. I'm a fucking millennial. Like I just think that like it just feels bad. And I know I was a big proponent, like I was a big supporter of having the 18 team league, and like this is like a big thing people mention, like, oh, there's gonna be a big, you know, difference like this. And I think this wouldn't have been an issue, but like the chance that all 3 of those teams got drawn into one group is kind of insane.
Because I feel like U.S. Air Force, G7, and Havoc and Cuddle Bunch could beat those teams like really easily.
Yeah, they'd be sitting in like right below
Like 5th or
Wyoming
6th,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt. I mean, Havoc's team is actually really fucking good if they decide not to troll.
Oh, thanks.
Like,
Okay.
like all their players are actually really
top
strong.
lane's fucking buns. Like top lane does not matter. Like I can just like get solo killed by an Ornn twice,
Yeah.
and then my team can carry me.
Yeah.
All right. Let's actually say goodbye to like some of the teams that are in red here, like Ilion, Sins,
That's
like Hawkeye, and Havoc's for fun team. Like I appreciate y'all coming out.
Dude, Havoc's is playing upset, dude. They're just playing their games.
They're playing, yeah, they're playing
pretty
spoiler.
fucking good.
Hey guys,
They're
can I
playing
mention
spoiler.
something real quick?
Yeah.
This is a shout out to Slim. I won season 2.
Okay.
Just that's all I'm gonna say. All right, we can get back to this.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Back to your scheduled programming. All right.
Yeah.
So
So like,
sorry. Go ahead.
do you want me to go through like the Lunar Conference teams since we
Yeah,
played
yeah.
all of them?
Go ahead.
So like Havoc's team, like I said, can actually pop off if they decide not to troll. I thought you guys were legit gonna troll us. So we banned like Teemo and Malphite.
But we would have played Teemo probably if you didn't ban him.
Oh
So that
yeah,
might
no,
have-
because we saw you play it twice. We're like, we'll just ban it just for the meme, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then G7, I think it's just I don't know. I don't know if they're like individual laners are just not strong, and they just like get like too far behind in gold to like group and team fight. But like, dude, hats off to U.S. Air Force Academy. I'm pretty sure they have like one of the strongest like to level 8 teams in the game, and they just feel like lost after that because they like build leads. Like they did it against us, they did it against 8K, and they did it like every time I've seen them play it, they're like, holy shit, like gank heavy. Their junglers are ganking constantly. It's like, what the hell is going on? And then like as soon as like macro comes into play, they just like are confused of what to do or something, and they just get like picked a lot.
Yeah.
Because they just like get blind walking into us with like a Nautilus, and it was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna hit a free hook and ult Cassiopeia here.
Yeah. It does seem like they have solid
But like they're really strong
individual.
laners.
Yeah, they have strong individual like skill in their lanes and like playing 1v1. But once it comes to like grouping and playing as a team and making decisions as a team, it kind of gets a little
Their
funky for
mental's
them.
also garbage too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but like they play level 1 to 8 really strong. Just like I feel like they're just really good at landing. Like enough solo queue games will get you good at that. But then just if you get a lane, they're just kind of I don't know if they just are unsure of what to do and just like concede a bunch of things. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
But-
pretty common for teams that are just like a bunch of friends playing together that have
Yeah.
no Flash experience. I feel like.
Yeah. Cuddle Bunch is really good. They kind of went boom after they played us. I don't know if what was going on after that, but their support literally would or Kasakhan or whatever his name was, would literally just every time his ult was on cooldown, we're fighting here, and it felt like his team was like, hey, just like pump the brakes a little bit, because we're like, okay, let's see if we'll just ARAM mid, and then like, what did they do? They ARAM mid into our team, and we're just like, okay, we'll just front to back and smack them because they blew all Leona's and Sej ults right away. And I felt like his team just wasn't on the same page, and they just wanted to like. He was like, "We're going every single time my ult's up and my flash is up. We're going."
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think that's a great like I think he just described them perfectly.
Yeah.
well,
and
I
then
mean,
like,
Kaysion, like I was on Cuddle Bunch and I can kind of give my opinion on that. Like, that is kind of true. It's kind of like he is very aggressive, over aggressive, and like eager, which kind of like can work in his favor and against him, obviously. And when a team kind of knows that you're really over aggressive, it's easy to punish, you know. So
yeah, like all we were doing was like we were just trying to bait out their ults, and just like as soon as they do, they'd like commit way too hard on things. Like even like if things missed, it was like, okay, we'll just turn. But like, I mean, like it's a good strategy if like you catch people constantly, but like you kind of gotta pick your battles a little smarter, and I feel like that'd be the advice for them. And then the last time we played Wildfire in CSU was like sub 23-minute games versus both of them. I don't really.
they beat you or you won?
Oh, we beat them. Like
Okay.
it didn't really.
Wait, so if
I don't
you're
know.
beating all these teams so easily, like how come you guys are fifth?
Well, we started 0
Their
and 3
games-
in our
Oh, you
team,
started 0-3. Okay.
and then we've been 8 and 3 since. Like,
They were 2 and 5 at one point.
yeah. Like we were 0-3, 2-5, and now we're 8-6. Like, this kind of first week just kind of pinned us down, and like, once we played versus everybody, like we got to play against AK, and we're like, oh shit, they just ARAM the fucking Rift Herald. Like, okay, next game we'll just fight them at it. Cause like we had a lead, and it was just like caught us off guard. So our team's like just really good at adapting to what other teams want to do and just figuring out a strategy to counter it. Because a lot of people just have like one way of playing really well, which is like a good strategy. But like if you're playing in a series, it's not the best idea.
Mhm. I will
So-
I will say that a team that people are kind of sleeping on are the Rams as well, because like the Nighthawks and the Rams, like the fact that everybody expected that to not be in their positions right now, they're still holding those positions in week 5. So like,
I don't know if like CSU just went boom against us or just like because we won like every lane and just ended the game like super quick. It was like, oh, okay. Then I think they gave us Zyricon when like before Zy got nerfed.
yeah, and honestly, that is really interesting. Like how they can just be ahead of you, but you're just like dumping on them when you're playing against them head to head.
Like we're just built like I don't know. We've all really played competitive a lot, but we all just like want to play like comfort right away. But like once we know what a team wants to do, it's really easy just to pick picks into it. So like once we've played every team, and now like the second half of the season we've gone 8 and 3. Like it's kind of just
Yeah, and that's
what we do.
that's what you want to see. Like you kind of want to see
Yeah.
teams, get better. Like
Yeah, and like if we like honestly like if we just get to play a tiebreak to get into playoffs, I don't have like our playoffs best of 3 or the best of 5.
5.
All games are best of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I have really high confidence in our team against anybody playing best of 5s because
okay,
That's the thing. Like
it's so different than
season-
best of 1s.
Like that's we
Like,
like
you can
best of
lose
ones
off
for
cheese
streaming
and it's, like-
purposes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's purely for streaming purposes. That's why you
Yeah.
do best of one. We obviously don't
Oh,
do
I get it.
from, like, a
Yeah.
competitive standpoint because that's
Yeah.
that's-
Oh, I get it. I totally get it. It's just-
But I do agree that like a lot of teams do surprise in playoffs when like BO3s come into like or BO5s come in.
Yeah.
Because like it's
Especially if you're used
a
to
whole
them,
different
it's
story. Yeah.
yeah. Like all the scrim sets we play are best of threes, and like if we lose game one, it's like okay, this is how they play. Let's counter it, then go for it. That's kind of just what. Yeah. I don't know. Like
Okay.
Fallen. Honestly, I think Fallen's underrated. I think Fallen plays really well. They're the only team that's actually like just straight smacked us, and it was like, oh shit, that felt bad.
Fallen Crusaders.
Fallen's like
I
yeah,
refuse
Fallen
to-
Crusaders, aka Fallen Gaming.
I refuse to call them that. I think Fallen Crusaders. Definitely like they practice so many
All right.
comps.
Is the crowd really begging for Powder to get brought in here? The
Yeah.
crowd loves it. All right, I'm bringing Powder in here, guys.
Hey, he called me
Executive
kid.
position, executive order. We're bringing Powder in.
All right,
here.
I'm dragging him. All right, bitch.
All right, let's go. Powder.
Hey, we in here,
Okay.
boys.
All right.
Apologize to me for calling me kid.
By popular demand, we're bringing Powder in here, guys.
Hey.
All right. Okay. So, we heard ZEYX breakdown of his group in Lunar. We haven't spoken about Solar yet, but we're going to kind of like get. I might as well get your opinion on your conference right now and your position. So
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
yeah, so basically, in the beginning of the season, if everyone remembers, Lunar was said to be this hotshot gaming squad where everyone, like top 7 teams, are all going to be fighting for playoff spots, and then it turns out it's like 2 teams versus nothing. Free wins like on the bottom 6, and in Solar Conference, it's kind of the opposite. We have 3 free wins, and then the rest 6 teams are fighting for playoffs, and you guys just like super underestimate every team. You talk shit on like Wildfire Ravens. You talk shit on like
Hey, I was a proponent of the
AK,
Ravens.
like-
Okay, you can go back in the tape. I called Ravens as being a very nobody's talking about them, but I think they're good. I've been saying that
no,
for
you,
a few episodes.
everyone gives us rank 5 in the. If you look at the like power rankings, people give us rank 5. It's
Yeah, I
there's
gave you
there's
5,
no
bitch.
reason. Yeah, you suck. I don't believe in anything you say, Zach.
Bubble Buddies.
You hate us because we griefed your Minecraft server. That's the only
AK's
reason.
better than you. Fallen Gaming's better than you.
Okay, we just played Fallen Gaming in a scrim yesterday, and we had a troll support and
Oh,
still went
it's-
1-1, and then they quit because they didn't want
I
to play
don't care
another.
about scrims, dude.
Okay.
We didn't even scrim. Inbloom didn't scrim, and we won finals. Like, I mean, like you guys like. I think 5's a good rank for you guys. I think Elvis's 9 rank kind of skewed you guys a little, but I think 5 is a perfect rank for y'all.
I mean, I don't really listen to anything from teams that are negative win rates, especially like a 7% win rate.
Okay.
Or
The
what's
only-
your what's your ring rate? 21%. Sorry.
The only
So
Solar
having for
opinion.
fun.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, I don't care about our team. What the
No,
fuck?
the only
Then why-
the only
why
Solar
Solar?
opinion that I think that I haven't watched enough of your guys' games to actually have an opinion, but I know like the bottom 3 teams are kind of just boom. But other than that, I feel like it's top 5 are fighting for 4 spots.
Yeah, I mean that's a
Is,
fair
is that
thing
like
to say.
a is that like a is that like a not a fair comment?
Yeah,
that's
it's basically top 4, but none of us get streamed. Like Bubble Buddies get streamed every once in a while, but you haven't streamed Ravens once the entire season. You streamed us once in the beginning, and then you kind of just ignore Solar, and everybody just hypes up Lunar when they're kind of bad.
You guys are being
Okay.
streamed next week.
I agree that like Lunar was super overhyped like going into it. I didn't really have any expectations going into this whole thing, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like Havoc's team is definitely better if they actually try. But I mean, I feel like it started 0-7. I don't really care because like they just took over the 0-7 spot,
We literally don't
Which
give a
is, like,
shit.
which is like I don't know if that's fair to judge because they actually have like really good players.
All
on
I'm
their
saying is,
team.
boys, you can clip this in chat. Ravens is gonna win OL season 3, 100%.
Damn,
Clip it.
clip it,
Clip
clip it. Okay, you're gonna get a lot of shit, dude, if it doesn't work out.
I mean, it's going to work. There's no way we lose. I'm putting that out there right now. 100% confident we win OL season 3.
At least it's spicy.
Okay, if you're that confident, do you want to scrim us and see if you'll win a best of 5?
Who are you?
Oh,
Cosmic
I don't
Insight.
clip bad takes.
I literally don't play teams that are under rank 4. Sorry.
Dude, we are
It's
ranked
not-
4. We've gone 8-3 in the last
You're
since we are started.
you're tied for 4th. You're 57% win rate. That's my solo queue win rate. There's no point.
Are you scared
Okay,
to
but
lose,
I
or
will
like
put-
why don't you want to scrim? We'll do a best of 3.
That's a good point. But also,
Like-
okay, hold up, guys, hold up. I'm gonna say
You should
this.
just
though.
2-0 us then.
One second. I will say this though, Powder, is that you're playing in solar where you have 6 wins, like
That are free.
guaranteed 6 wins. So like you kind of just can't say that.
Who? Wait, there's 6 teams. They're saying that are free wins.
No,
No, there's 3, but you get to play them twice.
You get to play them
The 6
twice.
wins.
So there's basically
Oh, okay.
6 wins on the table for you, right? But in Lunar, that's not the case for sure. It's not. They have to kind of like fight for their wins every time they play. So like,
I mean, I think Lunar's just spread out equally bad, and then Solar just has like 3 teams that are
But
bad.
I mean, that's an opinion. You can't necessarily, like.
Okay,
if you're
so
saying,
like
if
straight
you're
up,
saying that, if you're saying
if
that,
you're
not many people,
if you're that confident, then
Yeah.
scrim us the best of 3 series this week. We'll play any day
The
you want.
bottom 3 teams in Lunar
Okay,
would
we'll do Thursday then.
build the pact.
Thursday?
And,
Okay, we got to do it at like 9 o'clock.
That's fine.
Okay.
But it's just gonna be like a big waste of time. It's gonna be over in 30 minutes. You 15-minute FF both games. So
Okay. Okay, we'll see. Do you want to stream it?
man.
I mean, if somebody wants to, sure.
When
Like
is it?
spectator in front of you. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can do
well,
a spectator.
Okay.
Yeah, just a friendly exhibition.
Okay.
Sure.
All right,
Okay.
guys.
Okay, but
We got a match.
I'm gonna go on to the fact. Hold on. That like I do agree that Lunar's the middle of the pack and bottom teams would be like middle of the pack in Solar. Like Solar is not very competitive just because 5 teams are in playoff contention, which is kind of boring. So
I mean, 4 teams, or I guess it's the same. I mean, 5 teams are in Lunar as well.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
I
Cuddle
feel
Bunch
like it's-
Cuddle
Well,
Bunch
at
doesn't
this
have a
point in the
chance
season,
anymore.
Yes, at this point. in
But
the
I feel
season,
like U.S. Air Force and G7 Dusk are way better than the bottom 3 teams of Solar.
But
Like, I'm not
Dusk-
saying like either of them would like compete for like top side, but I'm just saying they're like at least a little bit better competition.
Maybe.
They-
I,
they
don't
just
know.
kinda
I haven't spent time scrimming any of the bottom teams. There's no point. So I don't even know what they like, how they play or anything.
Okay, I mean that's fair to say. Like that's fair to say on both sides, But all I'm saying is that like calling out win rates and that sort of thing in Lunar is 100% different than Solar, So like there's a little like like your opinion's not really 100% based on the whole context and facts and all that, right? But aside from that, aside from that, let's I kind of want to get more opinions on like what the Solar Conference kind of looks like, how the experience was going through the season from your point of view. You were there from the beginning, right, Powder?
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't play in the like what is it called, applicant tourneys, but
Yeah.
I was picked up after.
Okay, so from week 1 until week 5, you guys are done now, right? Or well, pretty close to being done. Like,
Yeah.
what team do you feel like is kind of underrated that you played against, or what team do you think is definitely overrated? And I kind of want to get like a real opinion here, and not like everybody sucks. We're the
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I got you. All right. So I mean, I think the team that's like highly underrated in our conference is probably Soulbound Lightning because they picked up Brash. So I think after the Brash pickup, they finally picked up like a shot caller kind of player, and then now I feel like they have like a chance at playoffs. Maybe I don't know if they actually have a chance. They're 7-7. I guess they can still get there if they win both games and Wyoming loses both. Maybe.
okay.
I think Wyoming plays 1 game. Yeah, Wyoming has a bye next week, so they only have 1 game in since. So
Yeah, I think so. I think Soulbound Lightning's pretty underrated now with Brash. I think that's like a big pickup for their team. But after playing like all the teams in the league, the most overrated team would probably be Bubble Buddies. We lost to them because we basically just fucked up our draft and we let through their Rengar 1 trick. And then they play with 2 junglers. Yeah, they have 2 junglers to play. They play around their jungle every single game. Their laners are super weak. They pick them Ezreal, Orianna, and Ornn, just these super safe scaling laners because they don't have any mechanics to get them through the early game. So I feel like if their jungler doesn't get ahead, then they just lose the game.
So basically, AK.
I haven't watched AK's games, but yeah, I guess you could say that.
Well, that's what matters the most. Like at our mid jungle. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I
why
think.
the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ravens has like a super strong individual roster, and then also team play. We play like we can carry from any point of role. You see Death Holy carrying every day. You see Griffin popping off every once in a while, and you see Giga popping off every once in a while. Like, we
I
carry
will
from every role.
say, I said D Holy was a good player. A lot of people were kind of like down on D Holy as a AD carry, but you know, I stay strong, D Holy. Stay strong. Go ahead.
D-Holy's really good. He's just really passive. Like he's always gonna have a shit ton of CS. He's like always gonna have like a really good score line, but he's just like a really passive, like non-risk taker, which can like clash with other shot callers on the team. So
He, I mean, not really. I mean, being on a team with him, we don't really have any communication problems. Our shot callings are perfect. Like we have, basically, like we have 3 shot callers.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think
Hold
we
on.
don't really make any, like, I mean, obviously we make mistakes, but when it comes to like shot calls, there's no real like we're not on the same page. That's not why we lose. Is because of shot calling or communication. I feel like we either lose in draft or we just play incorrectly. But shot calling, we're always on the same page. We play as 5 because that's how this game is meant to be played.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
good.
would rather have somebody on my team that plays like passive and safe and like actually groups for team fights and stuff than somebody just like brain dead aggressive and wants to fight every 2 seconds.
That's definitely
Like-
Yeah, I mean, Death Holy. So I feel like we worked on Death Holy a lot in the early season. We had a couple problems, like just I think we had problems all around, but Death Holy's kind of stuck out to us. Like he had trouble hitting towers. It was a big meme within our team. We'd have like 2 front lines, like me and Giga top lane would be on these 2 tanks, like tanking the tower, waiting for Death Holy to step up and auto, but he'd be too afraid to get engaged on. But eventually, once he got over that kind of like fear of that and like believing in his team to, you know, be able to carry after he dies or just like react to the plays, I feel like we got over those pretty quick. Like week two and a half came around and it was just like insane. Like we were just praising Death Holy for hitting towers.
Hey, it's baby steps, dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for Powder, his overrated team is Bubble Buddies, and his underrated team was, you said Penguins.
Soulbound
right?
Light.
Oh,
Soulbound Lightning.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Okay, Lightning. All right. So I want to hear from ZEYX. Like, who is the overrated team and the underrated team? Of
You already know who the overrated team is.
Okay, you're gonna call out
It's
AK.
AK.
You're gonna call AK, and you're
Yeah,
your
but
reason
it's just
for it.
like they have this very linear strategy. Like their lanes aren't strong enough to win. They just try to group cheese on a Rift Herald, and like if you just show up 5-man and you just beat them, like I don't know what to tell you. And then like I feel like U.S. Air Force, like if they could get their like mid-game shit together, they would be so good. Because like their independent lanes are like really strong, and their jungle just perma ganks, which is like good. But then like after that, they just like don't know what to do.
But from like a playoff standing, like I think your team and up, who do you think is like a
Oh,
team
Fallen is underrated.
Like Fallen? Okay, all right. Oh wait, they're underrated and they're second. That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's
they're
pretty
better than AK.
important. Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Wait, Fallen? You said Fallen's better than AK?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think they're better than AK in a best of 5.
Yeah, I feel like AK would cheese them once with the shit, and then they just adapt and change and be. It's fine.
All right.
I haven't seen AK. Like I've watched like their games, and like I haven't seen them play another way.
All right.
I think AK is pretty good.
I think like I don't think they're bad. Like,
team.
but they just have a really linear play style. Like in a best of 5, that's not what you're looking for.
I think they'd be in the same position in Solar. They'd probably be first, second place.
All right. Let's kind of move this topic over to, we kind of talk about the breakdown of the power rankings and all that. And the week 5 standings is probably the next thing we need to kind of talk about. But we'll kind of talk about it briefly because we kind of talked about every team already. We really kind of went into a lot of the teams and the breakdown of the standings already. But I kind of want to do a quick breeze over because let me just pull up the standings here. And Zach, if you want to just move the arrow to week 5 standings.
Yeah, I'll move the arrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So
Fan baby. Oh, you want week 5 standings breakdown?
yeah, week 5. Yeah, week 5.
Alright.
And let me pull up the.
Then we kind of just talk about that though.
Yeah, sort of, but we didn't really kind of talk about who. I guess we can kind of tie in the playoff predictions for the first round. So like, who do you think is realistically gonna take the 4th spot in both conferences? First, I guess we'll just go with Powder because.
Yeah, does my boy Powder want to start since I just talked?
Yeah.
The 4th spot, you said?
Yeah. Who do you think realistically? Like right now, Ashura. Okay, we didn't talk about Ashura, kind of going boom like over
Yeah,
the
I can
season.
kind of glance over that because so basically, I think
I want to
I
give a
mean,
backstory before you go on.
yeah, go ahead.
Let me
Go
give a
ahead.
Ooh, Azure
backstory.
backstory. Ooh,
Okay,
here we
so
go.
Yeah.
going into the season, obviously everybody was on the wagon of Bubble Buddies, Ashura, two top teams, undisputed, right? Ravens really kind of showed everybody that they're the second best team at bare minimum, bare minimum, if not the best team in Solar. Um, so like Ashura kind of started out pretty decently and really convinced us that they're a top two team, but they lost a lot of games recently, and just from the looks of it, it really just looks like the team isn't practiced. They're not really like the head's not really in it. They're not cohesive. It doesn't look like a lot of the other teams look like. A better example is the better teams around them kind of look like well-oiled machines, and they're kind of still like creaking and just like kind of making it over the finish line. So I kind of want to just give that information out before you kind of give your opinion. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, we lost to Asura in I think week 1, I believe it was. And it was kind of like we had just brought in our new top laner. We hadn't really had too many days to scrim, and we didn't really, of course, like we didn't know how each team played yet. But once we figured out that Asura basically has one style of play, which is their jungler sits top lane for the first 8 minutes of the game, and just tries to snowball their top laner. We kind of just beat them every time since. I think we played them twice since, maybe only once. But I feel like they play the same way against every team, and every team is kind of starting to adapt to that, and that's why they're losing more games. They're also not playing with the same top laner they played with, like in the early season, that like is used to getting camped. So they're playing these like Galio top lane or like Kennen top lane, these champs that don't really have huge gank assist or don't have huge snowball capabilities. So I feel like that's why they're losing a lot. But like as for going back to the actual topic, like fourth place, I think if Asura figures out what to do other than playing the same way every game, they have a chance.
Azure
Personally, I
can't make
think.
playoffs unless Wyoming loses to Sobasins. So,
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they
which is
can't be
pretty
in playoffs at
unlikely.
all.
It's not. Yeah. So it's not
Okay.
Azure's like hands.
Yeah,
It's in
then
Wyoming's.
I think Wyoming or Penguins get fourth spot. And I mean, I don't think either of those teams are bad. I don't think that they're great, but I think they're like they definitely deserve like third or fourth place. Like I don't think they're in the wrong spot at all.
Okay, so right now you're kind of predicting Ashura to be left out of the playoffs, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, basically the way that it looks right now on stream, like I feel like first, second, and then the tied for third is how it looks for playoff seeds.
Okay. I personally think, just based on the trajectory of Ashura, I feel like they're not gonna finish in the top 4. I think it's a reasonable thing to predict, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I
I said,
think
they
they're just
can't.
gonna FF their games next week.
Yeah, they can't anyways unless Wyoming loses to Sens.
Yeah,
They literally can't.
yeah. Wyoming is
So.
more than likely not going to lose.
Okay, so like real question, how many teams in Solar Conference do you think have like a super linear playstyle? Or like one way to play?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, the one that sticks out the most is Asura.
Yeah.
I think Penguins also has pretty linear, just based on like how they
So like in a
play.
best of 5, how fast would you think, like if you came in blind after one game, you think you'd know their entire team comps? Of what they're
I
trying to
don't I don't base the way they play on team comps. I base the way they play on their map rotations and the way they ward and things like that. Basically, like Asura's team comps can be different every game, but we know that they're going to play her on top side every game, just because
Okay.
that's all their jungler knows how to do.
Gotcha,
But
okay.
for like Penguins, like their AD carry is their shot caller, so most plays are going to happen towards bot side of the map.
Really?
Yeah, Golden Kappa is
Huh.
their shot caller.
I feel
So
about
yeah, so Penguins is going to have like more of a bot side oriented like playstyle, and putting them behind is going to be obviously like shot calling is a little harder to do when behind. So like putting the bot line behind on Penguins is kind of like the goal. We didn't actually get to play against Penguins. We played one time, and it was that day. I don't know if anybody remembers, but the 500 ping
The
was
ping
happening.
day.
Yeah.
Oh god, dude, that day was
Um,
awful. What was going on?
Yeah, so I mean, we were again. They're in our org, right? So it should have just been like a remake. Like both teams agreed. But our org owner kind of just said like, no, you don't have to.
Right.
So Penguins just decided to take the free win. I mean, I get it. I would have taken the free win too. But as an org owner, I feel like it's probably the wrong decision.
Yeah.
You should make your teams. I feel like because if I don't
agree.
mean to be like super overconfident and like trash talking a sister team, but I mean I feel like we're way better than the Penguins team.
That's fair
So
enough.
I feel like if we won that game, we would be in first place above Bubble Buddies right now. We'd be 12-2, same as AK.
I mean, you can like. I agree. You guys are better than the Penguins. I mean, maybe Slim was just going with like the rolling from OO admins.
Yeah, but you could have just agreed to like redo it, but it's fine. I mean,
I think admins didn't want to redo because.
Well,
like,
no, the admins had said like if they said they're not going to like make anyone remake, but if both teams agree to it, that's what the announcement said. If both teams agree, then they can do it. But it's not. None of them are going to be streamed or anything like that. They just have to do it in their own time before next Sunday. Is what they said.
Yeah, because then it comes to be like it just becomes a bitch to schedule shit.
Yeah, that's why it was like. I mean, we had scheduled days. Like we could have done any day, but our org owner decided not to go through with it.
Okay.
that's kind of sus, but I mean, eh.
Yeah, he loves his Penguins. I get it.
But, I mean, yeah. But I mean, just as like, do you like know them like IRL or?
No, I mean, no, I don't think any of us really know each other IRL. But no, I mean, we're all like close. Like we scrim occasionally, and like I play solo queue with some of the guys on like different teams. So
Yeah, I feel like you just give them the benefit of the doubt and just reschedule it, but that's
yeah,
Water
it's
under the
whatever. I mean, we're still above. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
it's water under the bridge. But
So, Lunar, who's gonna lock in playoffs? I know you guys are fifth, ZEYX, but who is locking it in? Like, if you were to say,
well, the standings you have up there aren't updated,
yeah. Okay.
so
Let's see here.
yeah.
So right now it's
Oh,
basically
yeah,
a three-way.
I'm gonna recapture this because I think they updated it after.
Yeah, Taka updated it. It's just a three-way race between Rams, Nighthawks, and Insight.
I am
the
gonna
final
do this
two
right. I'm
spots.
gonna post a real one here.
Rams do have a game up, so Rams are in
Yeah.
a much comfier spot. Nighthawks also have not played.
Yeah.
Covenant.
So, what my opinions are, I'm gonna give you a bold take. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be a three-way tie tomorrow.
Three-way tie.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Nighthawks beats Cuddle Bunch.
I think it's CS. Yeah, I think because Nighthawks has to play US Air Force still. They rescheduled their game, or they
Alright.
rescheduled Cuddle Bunch today,
It is updated.
and then
It is updated.
they have to play Havoc's team. So, I mean, if Havoc's team decides to play, then maybe they could lose. But I feel like
Yeah, I don't know. I think we beat them pretty easily too if we like try, but it depends.
I feel like
we have
CSU is a
our
really hard game versus 8K. I mean, I know I was like, quote unquote, shit talking 8K, but like they are still like a good team. I just think
these are the games that are being played in week 6. It's Havoc's for fun team and the Nighthawks. Cosmic Insight versus Fallen Gaming. That's a huge game there.
yeah.
Cuddle Bunch has a bye. Air Force versus G7 Dust. That doesn't have any effect on the standings, like in terms of playoffs. AK Gaming versus CSU Rams. Big game for CSU. And also, what else do we have? We have Havoc's team playing Fallen. That probably won't make a difference.
It does not.
And Cosmic Insight needs to win against Dusk, and CSU Ram needs to win against US Air Force. So all the games in week 6 are just like bangers, you know what I mean? Basically,
Yeah.
almost all of them are really like important, you know, except for obviously I already told you the games that are not really important.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I see
Well,
that.
I think
see
at 8:30. Sorry for interrupting. I think at 8:30, week 6. Like I think it's not unreasonable for all three of you guys to lose your games.
Oh yeah.
Like you guys lose
Yeah.
to Fallen, AK beat CSU, and then we beat Nighthawks. Like that's not unreasonable. Like all three of you drop a game.
Yeah. I mean, we played Fallen before, and we have hopefully an idea of what they're gonna do. Just like I don't know. Like I said, we're really bad best of one team. But I think AK. I mean, as much as I've said AK plays super linear, I just think they're better mechanically than CSU. Just like in lanes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just from, because like, I think their bot lane's gonna beat CSU's bot lane because I don't think we had an issue either. But I mean, they could beat AK depending if AK plays. I don't know if AK has anything to play for at all, besides first place.
I think CSU loses to AK. Like I think CSU has the hardest game. I think AK is much harder matchup. Like look at the matchups, then obviously Nighthawks with Havocs. Like Nighthawk has the easier game out of
Yeah.
the three.
I
But,
just posted the games, like the week 6 schedule, so that everybody can see how like the importance of most of these games. And like on the right, you can just see the schedule there, and like I think the Cosmic Insight versus Fallen Gaming one is gonna be really interesting. But I think it looks like CSU
Yeah, I'm hyped, dude.
Yeah, it looks like CSU Rams kind of got the better end of the stick because they get AK, and then they get to play US Air Force.
Dude, don't count it. Dude, US Air Force,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, underrated.
They-
I feel like they might have a chance to beat CSU just by like straight overpowering them in lane, and just like
Air
rolling.
Force did not look good at all.
US Air Force?
Yeah, they were easily the worst team we played so far. Like
Yeah, I
from
mean-
Havocs for a team standpoint.
Yeah, they have like they can have like if they have a good draft, they'll have really good lanes and just fall apart. But like I feel like they might be able to ride it out. I have faith in my US Air Force.
Yeah.
Dude, I honestly think they're super underrated. Like,
I mean, yeah.
I think
was-
they would be in 5th place in Solar, maybe 6th. I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually super close, and like, I don't know.
and they're still playing for the spot for next season. So
Oh yeah, so Cuddle Bunch, and Air Force and Dusk will actually probably try.
yeah, I mean,
So does the buy? The buy doesn't register as a win, right? So
No, buys are not wins.
so
Wildfire has to play US Air Force on like Thursday or something.
Oh, that's
'cause
why.
they
That's why.
scheduled tonight.
Okay.
That's why they're short a game.
So they play. So they got the better end of the stick because they got Havoc's team, and then unless Havoc's team doesn't troll, because we know when Cuddle Bunch played against Havoc's team, they said they're gonna troll, but they didn't, and it went full tryhard
Dude,
against them.
okay, I played Shyvana top. Like, Havoc played Kiana, and he doesn't play that champion.
Okay. All right.
I think
guess
both teams trolled there.
I guess my information is incorrect then. Uncle Bunch.
No, you were right. Like, I think
Oh
we still
no!
lost the
Don't do this! Don't do this! Not Uncle.
We had to
Bunch,
let
dude,
Shelly
come
off for sure.
on. Damn.
I would say Cuddle Bunch out-trolled us, and they beat us.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm unfortunately, due to the week 6 like schedule, I'm gonna have to predict the Nighthawks get in. Like just based on that, but based on the schedule, it's more of a reliable bet for me to bet on.
Well, I mean,
the
Zach
Nighthawks.
has the insight. If Zach says they're gonna troll, they're gonna troll. But like,
Oh, dude, yeah. Wait, hold on. It's
You're
it
saying,
kinda
wait, are you
fits
saying night? I'm sorry, I kind of zoned out. You're saying Nighthawks are gonna troll?
no, if Havoc's team, Havoc's for fun team, because we
Oh.
rolled the first game and then try harder versus us, and we were just troll banning versus them.
Hmm.
And like,
But I feel like
they have like really good players. Like, if they didn't start 0-7, they probably would be in playoffs right now.
We like
Yikes.
I feel like we just bring the competition down. Like following.
I feel like you're just
Like,
50-50
yeah.
if we're gonna actually play.
Yeah, like this like no matter how we play, like even if we troll or we try hard, like the competition just like comes to our level. Like they stoop down, because they're just like, oh, this is a meme game, and they just
Yeah.
can't take it seriously. I don't know.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, you're
Like,
entitled to
Crusaders
do whatever you
miserable
want.
against us. Like Fallen Crusaders played against us a lot worse than like I would say they played a lot worse than CSU and Cosmic Insight.
Okay.
But we had like a really troll comp, so
All right. So going down the list, I'm gonna predict the Nighthawks squeak through. I kind of want to hear what Zach says first.
who I think's oh dude, this is hard. I'm gonna say CSU squeak through, just because of their 1 game advantage on Cosmic Insight. Actually, hold on. Let me look at who plays each other. You saw the you got the schedule up. Okay, CSU plays AK. That's a loss. And they play Air Force. That's 1-1. Oh, dude, this is hard. Nighthawks. Wait. Nighthawks? They're missing a few games. Yeah.
They're playing US Air Force. They rescheduled their game today.
Okay. They're playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't
Why
read
the
it,
fuck
I
did I
just
miss Cuddle Bunch? I haven't been playing against like Cuddle Bunch in my pick'ems. Oof. You know, I'm gonna go with CSU, and I'm gonna go with. Dude, this is hard. CSU
Pretty
and
tough, yeah.
Cosmic Insight.
Okay.
lit.
Just because
See,
Cosmic Insight plays.
I'm
G7.
going. I'm thinking, dude. I'm gonna give you a hot take here.
Oof.
CSU goes 0-2 next week.
Okay.
Lose to 8K, and they just. I don't know if they're gonna get thrown off. But U.S. Air Force, dude, I have faith in my boys.
Okay.
Interesting.
And then I feel like Wildfire tomorrow will play Air Force and best one to probably win. I think Air Force, dude, I'm telling you, they got an early game.
Okay.
Anything can happen if you can build a big enough lead, right?
Exactly. I agree with that too. And I know Powder, you probably don't pay as much attention to Lunar Conference, but
Mhm.
if you have an opinion, you have the floor before we wrap up.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have the only thing I can say is like about Nighthawks because we played them and I know who's on their roster.
Mhm.
But I feel like in the beginning of the season they kind of had some issues, like some major issues that need to be fixed. But I feel like every practice they do is like getting them better and better. I don't know how they'll do against people in their own org or in their own side of the league. But I mean, like I said, they've been getting better and better. So
Wait, hold on. Nighthawks plays Cuddle Bunch tomorrow, not Air Force.
Is it Cuddle Bunch? Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, that's a big.
I
That's a big
I haven't actually checked. I just saw Wildfire rescheduled and I thought it was Air Force might be.
Ooh, that's actually a big deal.
That is a big deal.
they play.
How
You
is,
said
I
Cuddle
haven't
Bunch?
played.
Yeah.
Is Cuddle Bunch's
instead of
new
Air Force.
roster better?
It's kind of like a side grade in my opinion. It's because like I feel like the bot lane kind of got a new sort of identity. I guess they're not like go in.
Is the brake pedal
They don't
installed
have
on the
KC
car?
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. It looks
Okay,
like
so
Derwick's a
then
really
yeah,
good player.
they probably have a good chance because the rest of their players are good. They just, I've never seen somebody want to engage more than that man.
This sounds a monster, dude.
Dude, he was just going like hats off.
He does not care. He does not. I'll tell you that.
Dude, he
will
is
go
going
in.
for it.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to that man.
I
But
love
like, there's
PG.
some times where it's like, he went for that. Okay, I guess we just win the fight. like towards the end of the game, like they were trying to ARAM mid versus us, and he like flash ulted E'd and missed all of it, and we're like, oh, okay, this is just game. Leona's dead.
So basically, the games to watch out for is like the Nighthawks versus Cuddle Bunch. That's a pretty big game. AK versus CSU and Fallen Gaming versus Cosmic Insight. Those are the big matches, right? And every other match is sort of like upset if you guys lose. You know, the teams that are in playoff contention. If you lose those other games, it's kind of an upset, and kind of don't want to see those. But we
I think a big game to watch for. Are we talking about week 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think week 6, Ravens versus Boba Buddies is going to be a pretty big game to watch as well.
Oh, you guys.
yeah.
Oh, we're just looking at Tuesday. Sorry, we didn't look at Monday yet.
Yeah, and
Oh.
also, yeah, when it comes to the Solar Conference, it's kind of hard for us to like really get super hyped for the top teams playing against each other. Because if you're a top team, like if I'm putting myself on a top team and and I don't need to win, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not giving away too much, you know. Like I'm kind of gonna play standard and not give too much away so that I can go into playoffs like giving the least information possible. That's why it's not as interesting in my opinion, but it's definitely like a pride thing. You kind of want to stop. You kind of want to end the season on top, you know, and it's really important for like playoffs, especially like seedings. So it is
Quick
kind
question.
of interesting, but I feel like the Lunar Conference has these teams that are all like just clawing for that 4th spot, right? So that's why it's a little more interesting in my opinion. But
Yeah. Question: Are like the stream games on Monday set?
They are flexed, which means that there's a better game to be played.
'Cause
Another
I
game
think
will be
like
streamed.
Ravens Penguins game would actually
Ravens
have like.
Bubble Buddies is going to be streamed.
Oh, then the game after is that
I
what you're
don't
gonna
know
do?
about Azure Elion. It might be Ravens Penguins.
I mean,
That's
That's-
a
Ravens
much
games
more
are always
important game.
interesting to watch. It's like
No, but I'm just
It's
saying
gonna
like
be-
Elon and Asur aren't really playing for anything, are they?
No.
No.
I mean, Azure, if they win, they have a chance at fails, but Wyoming won't lose this ends, knock on wood.
Oh, by the way, I want to say something. So week 5, when you look at the IERs for Ravens, just know they're going to be all skewed because we only got like less than 40 minutes of playtime because one team FF to us, like they didn't play,
Wait, somebody
and then
actually. Oh, I
no,
thought you
somebody
meant
didn't
like
play.
FFF15. I was like, holy
Well,
cow.
yeah, Hawkeye FF F15 to us.
Oh,
And
like they
then-
didn't like FF before the game? Like in game they FF'd.
No, yeah, they in game FF to 15, and then Soulbound Sins didn't play this week against us. They FF'd as well, and then
Oh,
the
shit.
game against Sisera I think only went 27 minutes or something. So.
Mhm.
Oh,
All right.
shit.
Okay, guys,
Yeah,
we
so
didn't
I
hit
guess
our
we can-
target of like keeping this under an hour, but we are hit that hour mark. So we're gonna wrap this up. I appreciate everybody like coming out and watching the episode, and ZEYX, I appreciate you coming out. If you have any comments or anything you want to say as a outro, you can go ahead.
I mean, I like that whole After Dark thing where you just kind of get to sit and talk and like shit talk other teams.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna say shit talk. Change it to
Because, like-
sit and talk.
But like, I don't know. It's fun. I mean, I don't know. It's a good time. I've had more fun playing in this league than most other things. I mean, excluding week 1, we've gone 8-3, so it's
That's great.
it's
to hear.
good.
That's great to
But-
hear. Thanks for coming out, ZEYX.
It's also nice to just kind of have somebody like talk about the league instead of just the like Discord messages they have to scroll through for like an hour and then I just give up.
It's basically. And Powder, go ahead. If you have any closing statements, you can go ahead.
I only got one thing to say. It's see you in finals.
All right. See
Well,
you
you-
in finals, he says. All right. Okay.
And leaves.
And
Yikes.
leaves. Okay.
Some
I
comment.
one thing to
That's a
say
mic
that
drop.
Slim
Right there.
wanted mentioned. So there is gonna be a good chance that there's gonna be like a 3 or 4 way tie, or a 3-way tie for a leader, and even possibly like for seeding for Solar. So in the event of a regular season tie, teams will be seeded based upon their head-to-head record. If those are even, or 3 or more ties, or 3 or more teams are tied in a head-to-head record, all the teams will be considered for reseeding. Side selection for all tiebreaker games will be determined randomly since the teams are tied. A single round robin will be played across the 3 teams, and if this does not result in a hierarchical ranking of the teams, they'll be randomly drawn into a single elimination bracket where one team has a bye. So basically, like they'll all 3 play each other once, and if they all result in 1-1 each, then they'll have like a mini tournament bracket where one team gets a random bye. The other 2 teams play. Winner of that will play the team with the bye. So yeah, I think that'll actually probably come up. There's a very good chance that these teams are going to be tied. So
Okay. That's really important info, actually. So
yeah.
yeah. So please watch out for that. Keep up to date on that. And we'll keep you up to date as well. So, and we'll have an interesting episode next week because all of this will be resolved, hopefully.
Oh, I'm excited.
So we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week. So, and that's all for us tonight. And thanks to all our guests once again. And we out. Peace.
Be outie. Later.